Hello, I'm Elliot Sawyer, a senior Silverstripe developer at Catalyst IT in Wellington. I am a full-stack developer that predominantly works on content management systems, but I am passionate about offering excellent search experiences to all website users, including those doing content entry. By the way, this is an actual ad that was posted to Twitter in September 2023. This clever little ASCII art is what drew me into learning more about the product that I'm showcasing for you today. Today I want to talk to you about Typesense, which is a blazing fast search engine that offers a search as you type experience across millions of records instantaneously. I will talk a bit about what Typesense is, what you can do with it, and show you what I have done with it. This is mostly not a technical talk. However, once you have seen what Typesense is capable of, I will show you what you need to do to get started. Maybe you've heard about Typesense before, but reading words isn't really your thing, and you just want someone to show you, in a few seconds, how it can add value into your life. Well, they've got you covered right there on the homepage. This is Typesense's homepage, and they have embedded a recipe search widget front and center for everyone to use. I actually use this quite a bit myself. My family is all vegetarian, and I am not, so sometimes I just need a really quick vegetarian recipe. I'm just going to search for vegan, and watch, it gives me some recipes. Now I want a stroganoff, and it's giving me results before I even finish typing it. And now I want to do some cookies for dessert. I can just click it up and feed myself and my kids some cookies. It's another powerful search experience that guides users to discover things that they weren't even sure they were looking for. Once indexed, Typesense stores its entire optimized index in memory for blazing fast, often sub-millisecond response times. This enables it to return results almost faster than you can type. It is optimized for performance, but also for operating and developer startup costs. It is incredibly easy to download Typesense from their website and get started in a variety of ways. The documentation is simple, straightforward, and easy to understand. Typesense was created in 2018 by a developer in Texas named Jason Bosco. It was written from scratch in C++. Typesense is free in every sense of the word. Anybody can obtain and use a copy of the software on their own server at no additional charge. It is licensed under GNU Public License Number 3. However, Typesense is also a software as a service company. For a small fee, they offer a globally distributed hosted cluster for your Typesense collection to offer the fastest possible search experience for your customers no matter where in the world they are. Typesense themselves describes this as a CDM for extremely fast search. So at a very high level, what can you do with it? The killer feature of Typesense is its ability to instantaneously search millions of records faster than you can type what you're looking for. This enables sub-millisecond response times by storing itself in RAM, while also taking advantage of multi-threading and GPU hardware if either is available. Indexing happens one time, and the collection can be updated and pruned at any point via an API call. The indexing process itself is extremely fast. For my own testing, I was able to load 2.2 million New Zealand addresses into 500 megabytes of RAM in less than 8 minutes. Typesense have done 2.2 million recipes in 3.6 minutes. They've done 28 million books in 76 minutes. On a dataset containing 3 million Amazon products, Typesense was able to achieve a throughput of 250 concurrent search queries per second. This is an incredible feat that offers an excellent user experience for all users. Typesense offers some nifty and clever features out of the box. It offers curated search, it has synonyms, it has analytics, it has a decentralized dashboard that is available that you can use to manipulate your collections and view your loaded data, which allows you to change and alter your schema without directly involving a developer. So what do I mean by curated search? This means that you have fine-grained control over the order of your search results. Sometimes you want certain results to appear ahead of others, or simply to promote one product over another one. For example, you might want a certain page describing Silverstripe to appear ahead of all other search results for CMS or content management systems. Sometimes the opposite is true, and your website might exclude promotion of products that you do not sell. For example, words that contain WordPress can be placed at the bottom of your search results. Very similar to curated search, synonyms are a feature that is used when terms can be interchangeable. You can have terms like Silverstripe, Drupal, and content management systems all referring to CMS, and vice versa. Nearly every website operator requires analytics to get the most out of their investment and fine-tune it for performance and financial reasons. Typesense is no different and optionally gathers data if you tell it to. It allows you to do really simple things like tracking the most popular queries on a search collection. It can do the opposite of that. No-hit queries are when a user searches for something but does not find what they are looking for. One popular use case is e-commerce applications that track not only how often a particular result is clicked on, but also the follow-up clicks that lead to a successful sale. So all of this is really basic stuff that all search products should and often do offer out of the box. There's nothing terribly groundbreaking here, but now that I've finished boring you, I want to talk about the really exciting features that I love to use, and I hope you all enjoy them too. Scoped search allows you to configure collections with role-based access. Users can have a personal collection controlled by their own API key. They can be granted a key that can only be used for search on that particular collection. Collections themselves can be filtered by an organization and roles within it. This means that you can safely offer a search of protected data to anybody who bears a protected key. Another really powerful Typesense feature is geospatial searches, which basically lets you search for records by their nearest latitude and longitude coordinates, while also offering common and powerful GIS tools such as searching for points within a radius or within an arbitrary polygon. This is incredibly useful for GIS applications such as council planning websites, real estate applications such as homes.co.nz, and other map-driven tools. One of my favorite features that I've discovered while working with Typesense is its ability to work with AI and perform machine learning to enhance search results, and can do with surprisingly accessible hardware. This is a huge topic that's hard to cover in a couple of slides, so I will dive into the basics. Typesense has the ability to embed machine learning outputs into its results and perform things like a nearest neighbor search and provide context to results, which is calculated at index time either via an API call to something like OpenAI or with a locally available GPU. For example, your LLM might read a page for you and provide a summary and give you a new summary based on data that you have prompted it with. When you are searching on an image-based collection and indexing a set of images, for example, you can use Typesense to leverage an AI to describe what it sees. Some LLMs will even transcribe audio and video, which I will describe later in this talk. This is particularly useful when making non-text assets accessible for all users or providing alternative text for your images, which is particularly important for WCAG compliance. This is also a huge win for offering an accessible website. This can require a very beefy GPU, which is either locally hosted or provided by a cloud service, but I have found it is a really good use of the Catalyst Cloud A100 GPU. Before I jump into the demos, there are some key takeaways I want to leave with you. Typesense offers a containerized approach that makes it very easy to work with and deploy. It has many important features such as high-performance search, faceting, analytics, machine learning, and more, all of which are built in so you do not have to build them yourself from scratch. You do not need to reinvent the wheel or implement a custom search form anymore. Machine learning can improve overall accessibility and also provide a way better search experience for everyone. All of these add up to cost savings for your company and your clients as well. Without further ado, let's get into the demos. I will first showcase some examples of Typesense out in the wild, followed by some things I've done with Typesense while preparing for this talk. First up is Echidna Sewing, which is an online sewing store based in Australia. I wanted to show you the search experience they provide to their customers. Now, I don't know a whole lot about sewing myself, so I'm just going to search for something random. How about I look for all the red things? Just look at it. Just see how fast it is. As you start typing, it just immediately presents all the red things, so I can pick the one that I like. Now, what if I just need some needles too? I'm just going to start searching for needles, but I'm not even going to finish my query. It knows I'm looking for needles and offers the best one to me. Now I need a sewing machine, and it's just going to immediately recommend the best machine to me. All of that is now added to my cart. I can pay for my stuff, and away I go. This is an incredibly powerful search experience that empowers users to use your website actively, and it's all built with an open source library that any of us can use. The next demonstration is a website called FindXKCD, which for the nerds amongst us is a tool for searching the entire XKCD comic library. We love to cite memes at work, and one that comes up often is the Bobcat one. So I'm just going to search for Bobcat. As you can see, I know Bobcats come out a lot in XKCD, and I know the one that I want is old. So I'm going to click on the facets that Typesense generated for me and click on 2007. And there it is. That's the one I'm looking for. Maybe you want that go-to comic where the Velociraptor mauls you for using a go-to statement. There it is. This is a very quick way to get a searchable application up and going without doing much development at all. This is all based on an open source product called Instant Search, which was originally developed by Algolia. Typesense has created an adapter which feeds data into it in the same way. You just give it a few parameters and you're off to the races. This entire website is open source, by the way, so you can inspect the source code for yourself, and it helped me develop this module. At last, I want to demonstrate some things I have built with Typesense. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Rosine colors, but I spend a lot of time at my local Miter 10 looking at paint swatches. I use Typesense to create a tool that helps me name my Sass variables after Rosine colors. I tend to think of the color after the label that's placed on the paint bucket, so I tend to know the Rosine colors fairly well. But what I don't know is the hex value for those colors. So I found a spreadsheet on Rosine's website that maps all of those colors to RGB. I then wrote a method that converts that to hex, and now I can search up a color to get the hex code. So let's search for quarter T. As you can see, the hex codes are all there, and there's double T and triple T. So now I can paint my website with Rosine colors. I have also created an address tool that will allow you to rapidly search through all of New Zealand's 2.2 million addresses, which is based on freely available data from Land Information New Zealand, which I can provide a link to after the video. Let's start with 219 Willis Street here in Wellington. As you can see, there's a few of them in here. It's all broken into suburbs and towns. When I click through to 219 Willis, I'm taken to all the information about the address alongside a map. This is a pretty simple example of Typesense's ability to optimize for geospatial data, but also one that leverages its ability to search on nested objects. A collection can be easily built to index by number, street name, suburb, or postcode, but to keep it simple, I have not done this here. This leads me to my favorite tool, the audiobook search. Recently, I got an audiobook for free from Audible. I love audiobooks because I can listen to them while I'm walking or driving, but I have trouble learning from sound alone. I need to look at the text to actually see what I'm hearing, but this particular book didn't come with a PDF. The way I fixed this was with a bit of open source software from OpenAI called Whisper, which was able to read the audiobook for me and produce a transcript faster than I can listen to the book myself. That in itself is pretty incredible, but it produced that output into something that Typesense could easily index. I wrote a quick script to parse that transcript line by line and fed it into a Typesense collection, and the result is that I'm able to search for when in an audiobook my search term is mentioned. As an example, I found some audiobooks in the public domain and created a searchable Jane Eyre. If you search for the quote, "Human beings must love something," you will find that the quote starts at precisely 57 minutes and 47 seconds. If you load the audiobook up and scroll to 57 minutes and 47 seconds, you will find that that quote appears exactly at that second. So, who's excited about Typesense? It's an awesome product, and I hope you all have enjoyed it as much as I do now. I mentioned earlier that this is not a technical talk, so I've saved all of the technical stuff for the very end of the talk. If all this is lost on you, you can stop listening at this point, though, to be honest, it's not that intimidating. Even if you've never done search before, you could probably pick it up pretty quickly. Typesense provides SDKs for PHP, JavaScript, Go, Ruby, Java, and so much more. Even if all you've got is a terminal and two thumbs, you can do this with Rest and curl. It provides an adapter to integrate with Algolia's Instant Search, which is also open source, so you can start using both by downloading two libraries and loading them directly into your browser. Schemas are pretty simple and based on JSON. You don't really need to know much about JSON to understand what's going on here. I mean, just reading it quickly, you can see this schema is about companies with a name, a number of employees, and a country, and we want to sort by the number of employees. The country is faceted, so you can further filter employees by a country at query time. It's simple and straightforward, while being very easy to read. Sometimes rigid schemas aren't your thing and you're just feeling lazy. Typesense provides something called automatic schema detection, which is not only for the lazy, but also for the pragmatic. You can let Typesense just do its best to make sense of the chaos by giving it as much or as little information as you want. All the field names and the facets are based on regex, so you can describe them as loosely as you want. Of course, it's not always that simple. Your data does need a little bit of coaxing to get the result you want, but it still does a pretty good job of working with what it's got. Automatic schema detection is particularly useful when your data is disorganized or poorly structured. Sometimes you just don't know what to expect in advance, or can't. You don't know how ordered the collection is, so all Typesense can do is its best to figure it out for you. Good examples of this are when a website has 20 different page types, all with varying numbers of fields on them. You don't need to distinguish them all as particular page types. You can, but Typesense can just accept them as objects, and Typesense will build a collection out of it. It also works great for things like untyped data or users with inconsistent information such as multiple emails, historic addresses, multiple phone numbers, and stuff like that. Typesense just makes something sensible for you out of the madness and produces a collection that either just works or gives you one that you can iteratively build on. If you need any more information about Typesense, there's some resources for you to look at. You have typesense.org. If you want to learn more about the cloud product, you can go to cloud.typesense.org. As I mentioned earlier, their code is entirely open source, and so is Algolia's. So if you know C++ or JavaScript and just want to contribute, you can head over to GitHub now to get started. I will also be releasing my Supercharge Typesense module in the next few weeks. It's not quite published yet, as I have some bugs to fix and some changes to make as a result of making this talk, but I hope to have something available soon. That module will also be open source and available for anyone to use if they'd like to. Thank you for listening to my talk. If you have any questions for me, you can get in touch with me on my website at sawyer.nz/contact and fill out the form and get in touch with me. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you again for listening, and have a good day.